Hello and welcome to Elite on the Commodore Amiga. And this came out around about the end of 88, early 89, long before I even had an Amiga. I think I got my Amiga Christmas 91 with Lemmings. So this game came out long before then. I was still very much a Commodore 64 user when this came out. But yeah, once I finally had my Amiga, one of my friends, he did lend me Elite, and this is probably the version of Elite that I've played more than any other version, and it's really the only version that I'm actively playing on and off. I've been playing it on and off over the years on my Amiga for I don't know, a long time. But right, let's get started. So what we'll do is we'll not load a new commander, so this is the start state for the game, and it looks a little different from the 8-bit sort of BBC version, and the C64 version was a fairly similar close port of the BBC version. So here we are, usual starting position here, and this time there's a graphical representation of the ship. And actually, there's a little menu at the bottom as well, that's new, but you can still use the same shortcut keys that you used to be able to use before. So I think that's quite well done. Galactic chart as per usual, and it expands out into the local chart. And you can use the mouse to click in destinations, which is a bit easier. I think that's quite welcome. There's a little graphical representation here in the system info page, and the buy and sell screen is also graphics instead, but it still tells you at the bottom what they are. I think this is much better than the original BBC version, which made you sit through saying yes or no to a huge list of things. It's much easier to buy and sell stuff in this version. And say we want to buy some foods, just double click on it and a little keypad comes up, but you can still type it in if you want. So buy 5. Don't want enough credits. Yep, that's shock. Let's buy 1. And there's an equipment page. And the core gameplay is identical to Elite on the 8-bits. It's just a graphical makeover that it's had. Back to the status page here. What I'll do is I'll not start from the beginning of the game. I do have a save game, so we'll go to the disk menu. We'll load. Select again. Right, so I can't remember. Let's have a look, see what galaxy I'm. So this is in Galactic Chart 7. And if we go to the status page here, you can see the ship has got much more equipment. I've been playing this, well, there's a little timer which is quite a nice feature. 3 days, 10 hours. I've been playing it more than that. Obviously when I die, I just restart. So I've probably played it probably double that amount of time, on and off over the years. But you can see that this is pretty much the state of the ship here. I've done a couple of missions, so I've got some extra things like the cloaking device. That's quite a nice little feature. And if you go to the galactic chart, or local chart, I can't remember. I think there's 8. Is there 8 galaxies in the Amiga version? It might be 10, but for some reason I think it's 8. I've been on this galaxy for ages. I've just been doing a bit of grinding around about this system, just trying to, just basically doing combat. I mean, I don't really need any more money. I've got tons of credits. You see, tons of credits here. So yeah, let's get started. So I think I'm normally, yeah, I've already stocked up. So we'll just set our destination. I think we normally I just sort of flip between the local systems. It's normally this one and that one, I think. And let's launch. So there's a nice little 3D launch sequence. I think the BBC disc version had a little view of the launch bay as well, if I remember. But that was the only version I can remember that had that. So here we are in the main game. Now you can use the mouse if you want to. I can't stand using the mouse for flying, it just doesn't work for me. So I just use the cursor keys. You can use the joystick as well, but I'm quite happy using the cursor keys. The planet graphics are pretty disappointing. It's just it's always the same. It's always just a green circle. That's really disappointing. See the space station behind here, so we do the usual views that we could in the 8-bit version. We've already set the coordinates, so let's go for the jump. So I'm assuming that you've probably seen some version of Elite before, if not. The short end of it is that it's a space trading game with a little bit of combat. You can't land on any planets, all you can do is go from system to system and dock in the space station. But apart from that, you're probably familiar with the game and on its many guises. I've already reviewed the C64 version a while back, gave that 10 out of 10 because it's a great game. It's perhaps not the best version of Elite to play because it's a bit sluggish. But this is certainly my favourite version to play. It's got a few sort of disappointing aspects. So I've already mentioned the planet here, that's quite disappointing. That it doesn't change colour or have more detail, it's just a green circle. The ships themselves, they're pretty disappointing. They're not too bad close up, but until they get close up, all you see is they just appear as little grey circles, which I think that is quite disappointing. I guess it's just there to speed up performance. So we're gravity locked at the minute, no we're not, so do a bit of warping here. Press J for the warp. And, well, this is obviously a nice safe system. Here we go. Not a lot of pirates in this system. Now I do have the docking device, which I think, can we get to the options? I've got it set to fast dock, just because that saves a bit of time. That's another new feature that was introduced, so it's quite a welcome feature. It means you don't have to sit through the whole docking sequence. You could just dock very quickly, rather than sit through the ship turning and manoeuvring to line up the station. It just zooms you in there. So we've got the S in the bottom, that means we're in the safe zone, and we'll just dock. There you go, we'll just dock pretty much instantly. If you do a lot of grinding, this is the way to go. If you want a bit more atmosphere, then by all means have that turned off. You see a few ships docked there. There's a Cobra there on the right. So when this game came out, I was still a C64 owner. I remember seeing the review in Zap thinking, wow, that looks great, but didn't have an Amiga back then. I can't remember, I think I might have played Elites. I didn't own Elites on the C64, but I think I might have played it. But yeah, it wasn't until later, until my friend lent me the Amiga version, that I really started to play it. He also lent me Frontier around at the same time, which I kind of switched to. I did prefer that at the time, just because it was so ambitious. But in later years, I've gone back to Elite. I just like the purity of it. Just the game design, even though it's so simple, it's just so locked down. It's just so well done. If you distill it down to its purest elements, it's just so well done. So let's sell Sell, sell, these. Buy some fuel. 'Cause we need 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 some fuel. 'C which for some reason is represented by a set of batteries. So they look like ever-ready batteries. Doesn't really make any sense. You can see this is quite an advanced system by the amount of equipment that you can buy. The ship is my ship is equipped with. I'll go back to status. Yeah, so it's equipped with a front and rear military laser. The laser effects are a bit disappointing as well. There's no actual solid beam effect. I'll show you if you get into do some combat. Again, I'm going to keep this review quite short, just because I assume everybody knows Elite in one form or another, and maybe they don't know the Amiga version. So it's pretty close to the ST version. Guess it's just based on the same code. Yeah, so I was going to buy some medical supplies. I can buy up to 35. I've got the expanded cargo bay. And we'll launch. Yeah, so it's been a while since I've done a review. I've just been busy at work, and by the time I get home, I just don't want to do any reviews. But I've managed to find a bit of time this weekend. And there's so what we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at the graphics of the station. I can't remember if these graphics vary. If there's different station types. I think there might be one more type. They might vary in colour, I just can't remember. But you can see the graphics are pretty nippy, and they're solid 3D unlike the 8-bit versions. Oops, I managed to fly into the station. Docking can be a little difficult, but it's still easier than it is on the 8-bit versions. So. There's also a RAM save option, which means you don't have to keep saving to disk. I don't tend to use it myself, just in case the machine crashed. Always save it to disk. Let's launch. Let's launch again. We'll go to a different system. Yeah, the status panel sort of ships around. I mean, I can see they've kind of tried to go for something kind of looking, interesting, but for some reason the choice of colours is really bad. Purple and light green. It's just a really poor choice of colours, especially in the Amiga, which has 4,096 colours to choose from. The Amiga 500. Why would you choose this palette? I've no idea. Just can't explain it. Right, let's try a different system. Let's go here. I think the hyperspace effect is quite well done. I quite like that. Right, so there should be some pirates hopefully. There we go. What I did is just slow down. You can press I to identify. So you can see they're just grey blobs. And this is the military laser fire. And all it does is have a faster rate of fire. What I'll do is I'll engage the cloaking device. So they can't see me anymore. The thing that drains your energy pretty quickly. You can see the bars going down on the right hand side, so I'll turn that off. Who's firing at me? Somebody's firing at me. I'll turn a clone device back on. I think. Right, must be that wolf. They're by far apart from the Thargons or Thargoid ships, the wolves are by far the hardest in the game. So my energy's a bit low. What I'll do is I'll give myself a bit of breathing space. I've got the retro rockets, I'll just use them. Gives me a bit of breathing space. I'll put the other ships behind me. Switch to rear view. There's the wolf again. Let's go back to forward view and put them in front of me. Yep, so I think the combat's pretty good. It's a lot easier than it is on the C64 for sure, which can get a bit jerky, but it's nice and smooth on the Amiga. Some cargo. I couldn't be bothered picking it up. Yeah, it's nice and smooth. I think it's a good version. It's just a shame it's not better. It's just there's a couple of flaws that stop it being as good as it could have been. But I mean, I still enjoy playing it. So I've been playing it on and off for years. You can't argue that it's got a lot of depth, lasting playability. At the end of the day, it's like any trading game. It boils down to grinding, and if you're going to do trading, and the combat keeps it interesting. But yeah, all my thoughts on the game are pretty much the same as it was in the C64 version. It's just a classic game. Well, there's a Thargon. Dark grey ships are Thargons, so you want to probably fly away from them again. Keep them at a distance. Thargoid. What do I say? Thargon. It take a lot to destroy them. I mean, this is the best laser in the game. Let's look at my status. So yeah, I'm just playing a game to try and get my rating up. I'm still in dangerous. I would like to get to deadly. Obviously, I'd like to get to elite, but I mean, it's taken me 3 days of gameplay just to get to where I am at the minute. It's going to take a long time to get to elite. I reckon maybe 10 days. So yeah, that's elite on the Amiga for you. It's a pretty good version. I mean, it's my favourite version of the ones that I've played. I played the BBC version, the C64, the Spectrum. I had a quick look at the NES version, which I think Ian Bell once said it was his preferred 8-bit version. I wasn't too keen on it actually myself, just because I don't like using the control pad to play it. I haven't seen I haven't played the Archimedes version. A lot of people think that's one of the best versions. I haven't played it myself though. But yeah, I think the Amiga version's pretty good. It's just these grey circles kind of let it down a bit, and the laser effects are all just the same really. The only thing it changes is the sight. Military lasers denoted by the purple crosshair. I see I'm out of energy. I could armour a missile. There's one missile flying towards it, but I'm sure they've got an ECM. Oh, they haven't destroyed it yet. I'll turn on the cloaking device. We'll get a bit closer to one of the ships. Just try and show you a bit more of the graphics. Obviously, they don't really see, but for some reason they veer off at the last minute. Yeah, okay. Just fire the ECM. Deactivate the cloaking device. Yep, so yeah, apart from those quirks, I think it's pretty good. Graphically, I think it's nice and smooth, and if you get close enough to the ships, they look great. Otherwise, they look like grey blobs. The sound effects are decent enough. The music's okay. It's a nice version of Blue Danube. Oh, there you go. Game over. Good timing. Yep, sounds fine. Graphics fine. The status panel's pretty hideous, but I guess you get used to it. Yeah, gameplay is excellent. So yeah, I'll give it 10 out of 10. It's a great game. It's got a lot of replay value. You could argue it's bettered by Frontier. But yeah, I still think that doesn't stop this from being a great game by any means. So 10 out of 10 for Elite, and see you in the next video.